you guys do a great job and you're doing the best, but sometimes the voters say, no, why isn't this always wanted to be said here, so sometimes we have, that's why we have to keep some sort of control. We can't just say, yeah, go ahead, give your compliment and go. So, I like that until somebody comes and complains to me. Then I'm just like anybody else, and I say, whoops, I think Kenny brought up a good thing, a good issue about the parks, but I think we can have control of that. If we say, all right, here's your Salesian Park, we're going to put fields that are open to everybody, and we might put one day. We might say, all right, some day is community day. In other words, nobody can book it.
No, you brought up a good point, Kevin. Now, you play football on a soccer field, you can play soccer on a football field. So if you build a field, you play, if you got to let some of the leagues understand that it's not their field.
Their field, yeah.
And that's what happened at Fayetteville. We had Larry Dice, God bless him, we built the goal post and soccer was so adamant that they could not use it. They refused to let them play football. That's how it got out of hand. It's really crazy. So
I think the climate has changed.
Well, I'm just saying, so you're going to build a field, build a soccer field, make sure you make provision to a football field. That's what I'm saying. You can't, just like the baseball field, please have women's softball out there too. But we started shrinking the fences to 200 feet. The men had to leave, the women had to leave. And the backfield you built for 90-foot bases, only 18-year-olds can play on it. Not anybody in this room can play on a 90-foot baseball field, but maybe I'm wrong. Well, we brought up, we've been talking about this for a while. The other thing is, to get a field for any playing field, whether it's baseball or soccer or football, but more specifically soccer and football, I need some rotation. I need some downtime. I need to cut a field off for about.
But that's what helps you.
But that's what the reason we're not. You're going to run. I was there for 10 years. John was with me. Okay. That's what you're always going to run into it. That's why you want what you're going to do here. You need more than one soccer field. You need more than one football. We all recognize that. I'm just under some headaches that we saw. We were 10 years before you all come down, which is great. Right. We've seen it, and we took 1 year. We took the 2 soccer fields out for a whole season. Boy, oh boy, you didn't want to be around there?
Oh, sure.
The farmer come out and we rolled it. Oh boy, yes.
I blamed you.
Yeah, I know. I went all your heart, so it's all right.
I think that I think that what we're talking about here addresses a lot of your, I think helps in addressing your concerns at any rate, because it does provide more fields that can give you downtime. And I think the direction, if I'm reading the boards correctly, or I'll just speak for myself, the direction that we're talking about in having it be passed up here and having this voted to, where Balsa says this is the new revised master concept, because the reality is we'd be providing for people to take a walk, sit and read a book, play with their kid over here, baby, and in the background you can have the ball field, so you can give yourself off time and expand the ball field. So I wouldn't get hung up on that old master plan for equestrian park. One has to make accommodations to the reality of the contemporary movement. And trust me, I love riding horses. It's not that. I mean, it's the reality of the finances.
Where John brought up, I heard you. Clear on that. The west side of the Salesian property, which would be 207, would be more of the arts. We would love to put your amphitheater in there for some sort of space.
A couple of benches with lights is about what's going to be happening for right now.
Right.
I mean, the reality is that I know they are. I know
we
they
have
are.
some music guys, have some concerts. I know. There's some things.
No, I know.
That's
That's wonderful. That's terrific.
But the west side, the east side of the park in the back here, on Craigville Road and Coleman Road, being Coleman Road on the north, Craigville on the south, the east side of the property is unused.
Well, that's what I think you're getting total support for that. And beyond that, my only other concern is, and it's so wonderful when people volunteer, but if people volunteer and there are disturbance to the designated wetlands, that's how people got into trouble in the past. So we should always be following the guidelines and be able to use our volunteers in the best way that we possibly can.
Well, we have to have a plan, and I think that the ones you're talking about volunteering, though, are contractors who are pretty astute today versus what may have happened in the past.
Yes. Yes, you're talking about
You can't just let it go.
contractors.
No, I agree with that.
It's coming in and saying, I'm gonna do some work for the football, I'm gonna do some work for soccer, or I'm gonna do some work for baseball.
That's great.
We need Stephen Grant, is that his name?
Yes.
We still don't know what can be cut out.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I said.
That's where we are, and
Yeah.
that's where we are.
We give Trish.
Because I've been sick in bed all day, I'm on antibiotics, and
Just want you to know for a
that's where we are.
So we gotta do
Regarding
some cuts for the bell.
Mr. Esposito, I would like to contact them and ask that we get going on this. Perhaps we come back to you in, say, 90 days and come back with a plan that is, like, gives their, gives us focus and on us to get that accomplished.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what John said, too. I was on Joint Rec, Kevin, a few years ago, and Susan Maisel and others, and I hold you all in very, very high regard because you do a good job. You don't get paid. You get a lot of criticism from a lot of people. And, it is kind of a thankless job, but if you look at where we're at today versus 10 years ago, a lot has happened. And the summer camp and this and that and everything else. And so, my hat's off to you all, and I know it's not an easy job. Anything we can do, we will certainly do the best of our ability.
And especially this year with Kevin, Kevin actually acted as the head groundskeeper because we didn't have one.
I know.
Tremendous amount of work, and Trish actually acted as director for a rather extended period of time. Above and beyond.
Yeah, what's the status of backfilling both of those positions?
We've not done any, we had a head groundskeeper was hired and, he's no longer employed in our services.
Right.
Like that? I'm not, I'm giving it enough. We're looking, we've interviewed George and myself and,
George.
So, for, the director's job.
Okay. They were just about to finalize.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We tried a little different format this time. I think we did some good interviews.
Super.
Right now, I don't have anything to play
Well, it's cold weather, it's not quite as bad now as it can.
I know.
Can I bring up one little, if we're done with this, there's one more little topic.
Sure. Well, before you move on, do we have to have a resolution from both boards saying that it's okay for creating the grade and...
Probably would be appropriate. Why don't you make a motion for the town?
I'll make a motion for the town.
What's the motion?
This is
To authorize the Steve Esposito and Graham Ski to do a master plan for Solution.
No, I have a real problem with that verbiage, and I'll tell you why. Well, once you get your second place, you don't find out.
Well, modify it.
No.
Kind of throwing something out, just so that there's a record of somebody comes back and says.
To me, I find it counterproductive to set master plan 12. I think if we just say that if we're looking for passive parkland along Main Street and to have them figure out how much land we could devote to fields and how that would break up, you don't have to go through, you're asking them for a schematic of that. That's, and it's to get their concept and get into it. Master plan means, means you can't, you're asking two volunteers, in my opinion, to give you a layout. If you're asking for a master plan, the Part 360, you're going, if you have to go through an entire...
No, I'm not looking to...
Okay, that's the way, that's the concept plan, conceptual drawings. Okay.
I'll second your motion.
Will you second for the town?
I'll second.
I made a thing. Any discussion on town?
George made the motion, I second it for the time motion.
Thank you.
I made the motion.
Thought there was a dog in there.
Who seconded it? I'll second it.